Generating a high-quality cinematic image is now a matter of a few keywords. A single text prompt can render a massive, moss-covered pirate ship materializing in the deep ocean with startling detail. This diagram shows a 30-second timeline where a single static scene is used. While the initial image is impressive, the attention metric shows how quickly the video loses its grip on a viewer without a change in the narrative. That drop-off illustrates a gap in how current AI models function. They are built to render objects and environments, but they do not possess an internal logic for pacing or building tension. One way to address this is through the Sunken Splendor Cinematic Prompt Script, a blueprint designed to fill that structural void. The script uses time-boxed linguistic cues to dictate what the AI generates at specific intervals, effectively mapping out a story across the duration of the video. This suggests the impact of a generative video depends less on the complexity of the subject and more on how the timeline is engineered. The first 7 seconds focus on establishing the environment, giving the viewer a sense of the scale and the quiet of the setting. Camera directions like dramatic, slow zoom are used here to set a specific tone before any significant movement occurs on screen. This diagram shows the vertical 9:16 frame. By prompting for beams of sunlight piercing through the water, the script creates a path for the eye, drawing the viewer's attention from the top of the frame toward the center. As the video moves into the 7 to 15-second window, the script transitions into a more specific, narrow focus. The wide scale of the opening is replaced by a request for an extreme close-up, a shift designed to change the viewer's relationship with the scene. By focusing on a rusted lock with a golden glow seeping through the cracks, the prompt introduces a specific question: what is inside the chest? This first half of the timeline relies on withholding the full picture to keep viewers watching. Between 15 and 23 seconds, that built-up tension is finally released. The language of the prompt shifts to prioritize visual density, using terms like slow motion and 8K resolution to emphasize the details of the moment. This segment introduces rapid motion, with gold coins, jewels, and exotic fish all spilling out and moving through the frame at once. In the final 7 seconds, the script moves towards its conclusion. This diagram tracks a major shift in perspective. The prompt calls for a wide cinematic shot looking up, turning the camera away from the chest and up toward the surface. The introduction of a diver's silhouette in this final wide shot adds a human element and a new sense of scale just before the video ends. This sequence of prompts completes a cycle, ending on a new perspective that makes the start of the video feel like a natural next step for the viewer. Looking at the completed timeline, we can see how these 4 phases work together to maintain engagement from the first second to the last. It becomes clear that the generative software is primarily a tool for rendering. The actual structure is determined by the instructions provided to it. In this model, the person writing the prompt directs the camera movement, sets the lighting, and determines the pacing of the entire scene. Relying on broad adjectives rarely produces this kind of result. It requires a sequence of specific, narrative-driven steps. Ultimately, the effectiveness of generative cinema depends on the intent and the structure the human director brings to the timeline.